this is Rachael Ladd Patterson with Women in Priesthood. This is a place for faithful LDS women, young women, and men to answer the prophet's call to study all we can about priesthood power. I've been getting so many emails and questions about the diagram, and so I thought I'd do a short breakout class on this picture that we're going to be using for this year and next year to talk about priesthood power. So, as we talked about in one of our earlier classes, we're going to depict the Melchizedek and Aaronic priesthood, which is the government of the church, and that's a temporary priesthood with a dotted circle. The dotted line is supposed to remind us that this priesthood, the Aaronic and Melchizedek priesthood, the lesser priesthood, is a temporary priesthood that's intended only for this mortal life. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the Patriarchal priesthood. This priesthood power is eternal, and this means that this was the patriarchal order we existed in the premortal realm before we came to the earth with our heavenly parents, and it's the patriarchal order it's the order of the priesthood that we will exist in our relationship with our Heavenly Father individually and with our eternal families going forward and after we die. That's why it's depicted with a heart. You look at our insignia on Women in Priesthood, you can see that the double O's of the word priesthood are two hearts that are linked, and that is because that is the design of priesthood. Priesthood power is God's power, and He gives it to us so that we can come back into a relationship with Him, which is a term we use for covenants, right? Priesthood power is all about our heavenly parents being able to maintain and sustain an eternal loving relationship and connection to us. It's a really beautiful story, and as women, I think we can find particular significance in this understanding of priesthood power. Now, when you are in the Aaronic and Melchizedek priesthood, right, we're coming back to the structure of the church, the order of the church. You have two major priesthood orders that are there, the Aaronic and Melchizedek priesthood. These two priesthoods are known as the lesser priesthoods. These oversee the ordinance of the sacrament and of baptism, which are essential covenants to be made. And they also, in this priesthood, you can, if you are a woman, hold a priesthood office and authority if you are set apart by the laying on of hands by someone in authority who has that priesthood. So for example, if you receive a calling for a mission, or if you are a relief society president or a young women's president or a teacher in an auxiliary or in an organization in the church, then you operate in that calling with priesthood authority under the Melchizedek priesthood. Now, when you receive your endowments, and at the turn of the century or around the time that the priesthood keys were restored to Joseph Smith in the Kirtland Temple, they referred to the endowment as the endowment of power. And I really wish we would use that phrase more, the endowment of power, because you always have to ask, well, what power are we talking about? We're talking about priesthood power. When you receive your endowment of power, you enter into the patriarchal order of the priesthood. And this is an order that is different. The Aaronic and Melchizedek priesthood definitely is a hierarchical structure. It has hierarchy, it has rank, people are in charge. A bishop is in charge of a ward, a stake president's in charge of a stake, the prophet is the president of the church. But when you go into the patriarchal order of the priesthood, you have a relationship based on equality and based on union. Unity is the operative word here. We aren't individuals in the patriarchal priesthood. We enter into a family unified relationship. When you enter into the patriarchal priesthood by receiving your endowment of power, you enter into this eternal relationship with God. And it really reconciles the narrative story we see of the covenant relationship in the New Testament. You bond your heart. So not only are we bonded to each other, but covenants are us bonding our hearts to God and Him bonding Himself to us. Jesus Christ is our advocate with the Father, which means that covenant relationship is made possible through His sacrifice. As you continue on in the patriarchal diagram, this heart, you continue on to your second major covenant in the patriarchal order of the priesthood, which is the new and everlasting covenant of marriage. And this seals you to your spouse, seals you to your children, and eventually will seal the entire human family together so that we can be in an eternal family and in relationship with our heavenly parents forever. We will continue to talk about this diagram, but I wanted you to have a basic understanding of it, because when we delve into doctrinal issues related to priesthood power, we need to be clear on which priesthood authority we're talking about, because there's different answers and different questions you might ask when we're talking about the temporary government structure of the church, which is the Aaronic and Melchizedek priesthood power, and when you're talking about temple priesthood power, the eternal priesthood power of the patriarchal order of the priesthood. And there's lots of amazing questions that come out from this. I just want to reiterate that everything that I talk about in these classes is referenced from public sources made public by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by apostles and prophets. And on our website, we have the top best talks right now, because recent revelation about women in priesthood is just pouring out on us. My top favorite talks that you should read right now by Alton Perry, Russell M. Nelson, President Oakes, and several general presidents of the Relief Society, which are really elevating our understanding of priesthood power available to women in the latter days. A little bit. This is a channel for women who are interested in studying more about priesthood power, especially along with the Come Follow Me Book of Mormon program this year. I put together a study guide. It's on the website. It's free. It's pink. And the entire idea behind it is I am an adult instructor. I've taught adults for years in the Special Forces School here in North Carolina, actually. And the best way, they say that children learn best by being physically active and engaged in their learning, but adults learn new things best when they teach other people. So this study guide is designed to help you absorb the information from the women in priesthood classes that follow the Come Follow Me program, and then to go and teach it either to your children, to your youth in your ward, or even for young women themselves. So there's only 6 pages. It's literally designed. Mine, I literally tuck right into my Come Follow Me manual, and it's only 6 pages. So that this is gonna follow the entire year. It's 6 pages, and you have the cover page. Each month has a different priesthood theme. So actually March was a theme, and then this month is another priesthood theme. Follows each month of the Come Follow Me, and then each month has a picture. It's very minimal lettering. Each month has very minimal lettering because it's designed to be adapted to any level. So if you're a really intellectual person, you can just cover this diagram with as many notes as you want. But if you're trying to teach this to young women, or if you are a young woman and you want to incorporate this into your teaching in your weekly Sunday classes, you can take this, print it out, and hand it to the other young women in your ward, and it'll help them make sense of the different aspects of the priesthood. We've got covenants, we've got the Melchizedek and Aaronic priesthood, we've got the patriarchal priesthood, we've got ordinances, we've got the temple issues, we've got questions about presiding and authority and keys. We're going to cover all of these major topics this year. We're also, the main things that I've kind of based this study guide on, the main books I've based this study guide on, are obviously the Book of Mormon, and then several critical books that have been written about priesthood power recently. Elder Runland and his wife, who's an apostle, he's an apostle, and his wife, Ruth Runland, co-authored a book called The Melchizedek Priesthood, which is incredibly insightful. And they reference, it's probably the most recent book by an apostle that's been written about priesthood. And then obviously the book by Barbara Morgan Gardner on priesthood power of women. And so based on the doctrine that those people teach, if you want to go read those books, I highly recommend it. But if you're looking for a 10 minutes a week kind of mini class, that's what this is. It's a 10 minutes a week, bite by bite, doctrine by doctrine, principle by principle, as we go through the Book of Mormon, learning about priesthood power.